Good morning, everyone. Thanks for jumping on with me today. My name is Jeremy Jenkins, and it is a pleasure, as always, to be able to share with you some of the tidbits of wisdom, the golden nuggets of information that I've gathered over the years. And today, we're going to talk about the 10 steps to success, and we're going to continue on with this series. We've been talking about, from the first 5. Today, we're on number 6, which is staying connected, right? Now, this one is one of the key components. Now, all of them are important. Every single one of the 10 steps is key to having success. That's why we have 10 steps, right? But this one seems to be the one that really makes a difference, right? This one is, it shows how serious you are, okay? So, and it all goes back again to step number 1, which is defining your why, your reason, right? Your motivation. Because if you don't have that why super set in stone, super defined with all the details that just motivate you like crazy, then it's going to be hard to do this one, staying connected. I see it time and time again where people start out strong. They start out, they come to the meetings, they're part of the thing, they're doing it. And then usually after a few months, they start to kind of get cold, right? They start to say, you know what? Yeah, okay, it's the same thing. And I don't know if they get bored with it. I don't know what the real reason behind it. There's probably lots of different reasons, but they drop out, right? They stop coming to the meetings. They stop inviting people. They stop doing it. They just stop doing the business. And that is detrimental. You have to stay connected, and you have to do it long enough. You have to do it because you know that this can take a few months or 6 months or a year before you're finally achieving that goal of true financial freedom, right? So staying connected is so key because and I hear it all the time. I hear people say, "Oh, well, I'm not going to, jump on the Zoom because I already heard it. It's the same presentation over and over again." Well, you know what? There's 2 things I would say to that. Number 1 is that it's actually not the same every time, right? I know because I'm part of it. I'm doing it, and we make changes all the time. Every week is a little bit different. Every week we add a few brand new things in there, little tidbits, right? There's little modifications that we do to make it even better. Okay, so that's number 1. But number 2, repetition. Repetition is what ingrains it in your brain. Okay, repetition, staying connected is what will make you successful because you'll now hear it so many times. It becomes, like that, when you're hearing a song, right? And you have that song and all of a sudden you hear it and it's like stuck in your brain again, right? And you just can't get rid of it. So that's what we want. We want this to be so ingrained that we dream about it, right? We want it to be so ingrained that when somebody mentions something, right, about, oh, I wish I could make more money, or I wish I could save money on, when I travel or whatever, we just automatically go, oh yeah, haha, and you know what to say because you've heard it so many times, right? That is why staying connected is so important. So you can stay up to speed, you can recharge that battery, right? That's the other thing. Right? What happens when our cell phone gets down and it's 15% and the little alert comes up and it goes red, right? And we're like, oh no, I'm going to be without my cell phone. And you're desperately looking where you can plug it in, right, and charge it. Well, it's the same thing. If we don't stay connected, what happens? Our battery drains, right? And we start to lose the energy that we had. So going to the meetings, going to the Zooms, or whatever, participating, staying connected, it recharges our battery. It gives us that extra, energy that we need to keep going, that extra motivation that we're going to keep hearing about. Okay, so let's dive into this and see really what this is all about. What we're trying to do here is create our empire. The most important step you'll ever make in building your network marketing empire is to just get started, right? That's the first thing. And so if you want to build your organization once and receive money from it for life, take the time to stay connected. and then have access to the flow of information offered by your sponsor, your team, and the company. This is how it's done, okay? So we have the system. We have a system in place, right? We have all the different things going on. We have everything from, our app and our website, okay? We have the team leaders that are there, to train and answer questions. We have our social media groups, right? From Facebook to, to Telegram, whatever. We have our online, conferences, our Zooms. We have our local events, okay? So we'll do in-person meetings, and we'll have regional events, right? That's what the system is all about, is about connecting people so they know where to get the information, how to stay motivated, how to get their questions answered, all that kind of stuff. So let's talk about the team and the leaders. Your team can play a key role in your early success if you know who they are, how they can help you, and you let them know that you're serious about your success, whether it's part-time or full-time, and that you want to be part of the team, right? Speak up, say, hey, yeah, I want to do this. I want to be part of this, okay? Each new member should have a printed list with the names of all the team leaders, where they are, their title, contact information, right? Make sure you know where you are in the organization and that everyone new to your team knows as well, right? So when you enroll new people, you want to share that information with them. You want to get them a list of, okay, here's the schedule, right? Here's how you get on the Facebook group. Here's how you get into the Messenger group. Here's how you get onto Telegram. This is how we keep you informed. This is where you can find the information for customers. Here's where you can find information for for brand partner, all the different things, right? That's what we want to send to them. And then, of course, the upline, right? Who are the leaders? Who are the ones that can answer the questions, right? Let's introduce them to all the leaders and make sure they know how to get in touch with them. Okay, that's super, super important. Then, of course, we have the app and the website. So we live in a time of the internet. We just do, right? Without our phone and communication group, we're in the dark. Okay, so we must ensure that we're seeing our messages at least once a day, right? So, whether you're old school and, you just use email or, you're kind of, in with the new and you're doing all the, social media and everything, I would set that up so that you're checking out your emails or your messages at least once a day, if not more. Okay. I know from some individuals that's hard, right? They kind of forget, they don't check their email quite as often. I think most people are kind of, we're all addicted now to our phones. And so, I don't go more than an hour without looking at my phone. So, but, there's some that just don't. And so it's a good idea, because not all of us are the same, right? To make sure that you're checking your email or your messages at least once a day, just to know what's going on, any new announcements, if there's, cancellations or time changes or whatever, right? So that you know what's going on all the time. We have our totally free replicated websites, right? We have our back office, we have our app, and all you got to do is just visit them, get to know them, read all the sections, understand exactly how it works so you can enroll new people, see your team and your commissions, all that kind of stuff, right? So that's key. And I know some people, they're so addicted, they jump in and they look at their back office every single day, see how their commissions are going, right? So that's cool because it's motivating. All right. Then, of course, there's the social media aspect. For many, especially young people, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Telegram become the most popular and easiest communication tools for them. So why are they so popular? Because it's just all about being able to share, right? Be it photos, videos, or just how you feel. It's essential to have these tools, to have a Facebook, an Instagram, and a Telegram account, to be connected to the fan pages and groups of the company and your leaders, right? And your team, so that you can always be aware of what's happening and to connect with other members of your team. Now, I want to do a little thing here about Facebook. I know there's a lot of people who say, I don't do Facebook. Well, my opinion on that is you probably don't do Facebook. I've heard all the excuses, right? The main ones are, number one, is because it's political, right? It's like, oh, I can't stand Mark Zuckerberg, and and Facebook is evil and whatever, right? That's number one. And second one I hear is that they're like, oh, I don't want to reconnect with my old, high school buddies or my old, high school sweetheart, right? Nah, that's weird. Well, my response to that is you don't have to, right? Facebook is not, and they suggest people that you might have known, but you don't have to be friends with them, right? You don't have to go and say, oh, I'm going to go be friends with my ex, girlfriend or my ex-boyfriend, right? No, you don't have to do that. Okay. On Facebook, you can ignore those people and you can find new people. So what you have to really think of is that Facebook is a tool. It's what it is. It's not about reconnecting. And sure, originally that's what it was all about, but it's not anymore. Today, it's an amazing business tool, just like a LinkedIn, just like any of the different other social medias. Facebook is just a tool. If you treat it like that, it's just a tool, then you don't have to get into the drama. You don't have to follow the politics. You don't have to, go in the different groups that are controversial and all that. Just use Facebook as the tool that it is to find people who are like-minded like you, who want to do networking and who are interested in saving money and making money. I mean, that's what it can be. Okay. The only problem with Facebook is why people hate it is because they get into all the other stuff, right? The politics and the left versus right and the Democrats versus Republican and all that stuff. You can ignore that. Just don't deal with it, right? Use Facebook for what it is, which is a tool. And it's such a good tool because it has all the ways to keep in touch and stay connected so much easier. And because that's where the masses are, right? As much as we hate to admit it, Facebook dominates the world. They own Instagram and WhatsApp, and they have the most people. And if you want to be successful in networking, you want to be where you have the most people, period. It's just the way it is. It's a numbers game. It really is. You want to be able to get your information and your branding and and the information about how we're going to help people with our products and services in front of as many people as possible. And the best way to do that is to be on Facebook, because that's where the masses are. Okay, so my opinion, get over your biases. Right? I mean, any single thing we do, there's always going to be some negative thing to it, right? Whether it's Bill Gates from Microsoft and all the Microsoft products. I mean, for crying out loud, we all use Windows. Or Steve Jobs, he was not a very nice person, and he has his background and his negative things, and you can't use Apple. Or Google, right? Google does this and that, and they're going to take over the world, and they're the beast, and whatever. But you know what? We all use Android, and we have to. They're tools. Every single thing on there is just, that's where the masses are. That's where we're going to find people. So just use it wisely, right? Like Spider-Man, say, hey, it's about having the power and responsibility. That's all it is. If you're responsible with it, it's all good. All right. Conference calls and Zooms. Aside from the written words, emails, magazines, or other company things, many teams use team calls, right? Trainings and internet conferences. And these calls and conferences can be a great way to stay connected, to grow your empire from the comfort of your own home. So get your phone number or the link with the dates and the times from your leader or team, and make sure you are listening, right? Stay connected, be on all the time. All right. And then, of course, local meetings, right? Yeah, that's one of the most exciting things, is being able to actually go and be there in person. And because when you do that, you actually have the time to socialize, to get to know people better, right? And Zooms are great. Doing online things are awesome because you get the information out to more people who maybe couldn't come because of whatever reason, right? And because maybe just distance, or they're sick, or who knows. So they're great, but there's just something to be said about the meeting after the meeting, right? There's just something to be said about, you go and you hear the presentation, you hear the training, whatever it is, and then what happens after, right? Where you talk and you socialize and you answer questions and you share stories, and it's so much more powerful when you can be there in person. And thank goodness that this is going to start happening more and more, where we can now start to meet in person and have those experiences, right? And establish those relationships. So like I say, if you want to grow your organization once and get paid for lifetime, you got to go to the meetings. Okay. Depending on where you live, these could be in a cafe, a home, a restaurant, a hotel, or any other place recommended by your team. Or you can do stuff online, right? And obviously we will continue to do that. But you just got to make sure you know where these events take place and that you attend as much as possible, right? Because that's where you're going to get again, the motivation, you're going to recharge your battery, you're going to establish those relationships, because in the end, that's what it is. It's all about the relationships. Networking is a relationship business. And that's good and bad, right? But most part, it's good. All right. Now, again, there's going to be regional events, right? So in addition to the local events taking place, your team or local leaders will schedule larger events, maybe every month or every quarter, right? Depends. And with these, regional type events that will happen all across the country, okay? That you can come and you can actually learn. And they're usually a little bit longer, right? Instead of just, a couple hours, they'll usually go for a whole day, right? Maybe like a super Saturday or something where you get together for the entire morning or, into the afternoon and you have other activities and things going on, right? You go out to lunch together, they bring in food, and who knows, okay? So those are also really fun, really valuable, and it's where you can get all the training and information you need to be the most successful. Okay, and then of course there's the national events, right? Or even international events where, usually once a year they'll do some kind of a convention or something similar where everybody comes, right? And they just make them huge and they're fun, okay? Lots of speakers, lots of presenters, lots of information. There's usually launches of new products or services or tools or enhancements to compensation. And there's all kinds of things that get announced at the big national events, right? Or even international, right? People come in from outside the country to see it, and they're fun, right? They're fun because they make it very social. And they usually have something at the end that's like a big party, right? With dancing and food and the whole thing. So those are fun. Those are really fun to go to and enjoy and socialize and get to know each other. Okay, and then of course we want to avoid shiny object syndrome. Okay, staying connected also means not being distracted, right? That's what I mean. So at its core, shiny object syndrome, or SOS, is a disease of distraction. It affects entrepreneurs specifically because of the qualities that make us unique, right? Entrepreneurs, we tend to be highly motivated, right? We are craving new technologies and new developments, and we're not afraid to start new projects and create new things. So ordinarily, that's good, right? Those are great characteristics to have. But when SOS sets in, it makes you chase tool after tool or change after change, and you don't settle in with the tried and true, okay? And it's called shiny object syndrome because it's like the entrepreneurial equivalent of a small child chasing after shiny objects. Once they get there and see what it is, they immediately lose interest and start chasing the next thing. So for entrepreneurs, rather than literal shiny objects, those distractions might be business objectives, marketing strategies, marketing tools, or just wanting everything to be perfect before starting, okay? Don't fall into that trap. Just follow the guidelines, follow what we're training, these 10 steps, right, that I'm sharing, and there's other things that we'll share in the Facebook groups and stuff, your daily method of operation and all those different kinds of things that are tried and true principles that will work because they're duplicatable, because they're easy. The tools sound fun, and they can be good for somebody that maybe is already up and running and making good money and stuff. You can maybe at that point justify trying a new little thing, right? But for the beginners, for the people just coming in, the brand new people, you want to avoid that. You don't want to complicate it. You don't want to get people introduced to all these major things like, oh, we're going to set up funnel systems or we're going to do all these amazing things, right? No, it's because it's too much. It's just too much for the average normal person to start with, right? We want to start with the basics, start with the 10 steps, get people going, get them making some money, and then maybe at some point you go, okay, now I'm at a point where I can go and try some crazy new thing, right? But you don't make your team do that when they're just getting started. All right, okay, and finally, here's the thing. If you have built castles in the sky, your work need not be lost. Now, put the foundations under them. That's from Henry David Thoreau. Remember, we all have our dream and our why. As we stay connected by engaging consistently each week, we begin to create the foundation. And as we build our team and make sure they are connected as well, we assure that the foundation stays solid and firm. And as soon as we disconnect, that foundation can crumble. So don't let that happen. stay connected, plug into all the meetings, whether they're online or in person. Make sure you're using, the tools that have been given to you, right? The basic stuff, the replicated sites, the app, all those different things. And then at that point, it's just a matter of sharing, right? If you're connected and you're getting the information, you're plugged in, you're going to keep your battery charged. And now you can go and do the other steps that we've talked about, like, creating your list and building your team and setting your goals and sharing, right? And doing the personal development stuff. All those things can now happen because you have the information and you're continuing to get that influx of energy and excitement that comes because you're connected. Okay. So with that, I'll let you get back to your Saturday. Thanks so much. And we'll see you next week for step number 7, which is all about inviting. That's going to be fun. So anyway, take care and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, everybody.